Okay, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. My name is Mu'taz Al-Khatib. I'm the coordinator of Applied Islamic Ethics program. So I'm going to introduce the program to you and give you a general idea about the program, Applied Islamic Ethics program in the College of Islamic Studies. In my short presentation, I will start with introduction, and then I will cover three main points: identity of the program, students of Applied Islamic Ethics program, and finally I will give you a general idea about its structure. As for the introduction, I would like to say here that our modern world is shaped by remarkable developments in almost all aspects of life, including politics, socio-economic affairs, and gender relationships, in addition to biomedical and technological advancements. Besides their great benefits, these developments and advancements have also raised deep moral questions and challenges. Individuals, societies, and professional communities are constantly addressing the moral questions and challenges that these developments raise. In the end, we need to make sense of our life in the midst of profound changes and to organize socio-political and financial activities in ways that are faithful to our moral world. As for the identity of the program, Master of Arts in Applied Islamic Ethics is the first program of its kind worldwide. It addresses how Islam as a world religion with a rich moral heritage engages with and contributes to the global moral discourse. Its strong interdisciplinary character combines in-depth knowledge of both theoretical and applied ethics rooted in the Islamic tradition. As for the student of this program, we target students who enjoy the study of Islam and Islamic texts, think logically and objectively about issues, interested in ethical issues and dilemmas, find value in collaborating with others to solve problems that they face or challenges they face in their lives, and contribute to those students who contribute to challenges, to confront challenges with a balance of creativity and common sense. Graduates of this program will have the skills to continue their academic studies at the PhD level in the many fields covered in this program, and they may also work in a professional environment by regulating ethical guidelines and policies in government and private institutions active in a wide range of areas, including biomedical sciences, engineering, business, politics, family, and human rights in Muslim and Western contexts. As for the structure of this program, the program is based on 9 courses and plus thesis. The courses are divided as you can see on the slide, foundational courses, 2 foundational courses, and 2 theoretical courses, theoretical ethics courses, and then applied ethics courses. So applied courses. So the students can choose 5 courses, 5 elective courses from the applied section, and then the thesis. The overall structure of the program is designed to balance two main aspects: the academic aspect of Islamic ethics through a scholarly approach rooted in the Islamic tradition, and the applied aspect to improve student skills in addressing the vexing ethical dilemmas and questions that people face in contemporary times for the prospective market of professional work. We designed two new courses, applied courses. The first one is Islamic Ethics of Pandemics. So we offered this course last semester during coronavirus pandemic. And then we are planning to offer a new course next semester on Islamic ethics and artificial intelligence. As you can see on the PowerPoint on the slide, so some courses, the foundation courses are Islamic ethics, mapping the field, research methods and sources on ethics. The theoretical courses are scriptural ethics, ethics in the Quran and Hadith or Sunnah, and theological and philosophical ethics. As for the applied ethics courses, we have a wide range of courses. Students can choose and select from this list, and this list is flexible. We keep updating or adding new courses in the applied section based on different criteria. One of these criteria is that based on the need and like what we did with, for example, what we did with Islamic ethics of pandemics. Because of the coronavirus pandemic. So we keep updating our applied section, and we add based on the need and challenges that we face in our world. So, for example, there is ethical reasoning and moral decision making, Islamic bioethics, ethics of migration and human rights, business ethics, peace, war, and political ethics, gender and Islamic ethics, ethical issues in psychology, environmental ethics, art and ethics, comparative religious ethics, ethics in science and technology. These are just examples for the course of the applied courses. Now I will give you the floor to Haneen and Naima. So we will start with Haneen. Haneen and Naima are two of our best students in the program. They're going to share with you briefly their experience studying Islamic ethics and combining between their professional work and their study. So, Haneen, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Haneen Al-Utaybi. I'm an occupational therapist. My motivation to go on the applied ethics was first from my profession. As a medical practitioner, there are a lot of ethical dilemmas that we capture while we work in the hospitals and with people with disabilities. So many questions was in my head before going inside the applied ethics. The questions was what are the right way to deal with these people? What are the right decision? Sometimes we face some decisions are really hard to have an ethical decision through them. So when I entered the program with my own questions and challenges that I faced, I understand that ethics is a core aspect of each disciplines, and it should be there in all professions. So there is no already made answer. So I understand how the process of ethical reasoning and justifications are given So each one of us can know what is the right action he should do and what is the right path he should go through, and there's no one only on one right solution and ready one. So through the different courses, we develop a holistic understanding about the ethics, especially in the philosophical and theological ethics. I didn't expect to find some psychological aspects which interlink with my profession in these courses. However, the professors are from different backgrounds and they have really rich experiences. This enrich my understanding of ethics and make it more wide and holistic. So I find this program unique because I think it brings different people from different backgrounds together, and to understand more about how ethics can play a critical role in all the disciplines and in all the professions. So I think in the courses when we discuss with colleagues from different backgrounds, we can understand the same idea or the same problem from different points of view, and to have a more near to the right understanding of the problems. So, and as a conclusion, if I conclude that this program give me the tools to think correctly about ethical issues and ethical dilemmas based on the Islamic moral principles and the Islamic world view of the world.
Thank you very much, Haneen. Thank you very much. Now the floor is yours, Naima.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. So thank you, Haneen, for sharing your thoughts. I have almost similar views as Haneen. So basically, I'll also start off with my motivation first. So what exactly motivated me to join this program? So initially, when I started this program, Masters in Applied Islamic Ethics, so I faced a bit of resistance from my family members, and I was also confused myself because, you know, the number one question that I had in my mind and my family members that what is ethics? Like, haven't you been studying Islamic studies all your life? So Islamic studies is all about ethics. So what different is this course going to offer? And I remember in my first class, Ali, I asked him the same question. And, you know, he told me to wait for the end of the course. And finally, now I think I have some answers to those confusions and questions. So basically, you know, the reason why I joined this program was that despite coming from a Muslim background and studying Islamic studies, and seeing people around me from Muslim backgrounds, yet that ethical element, unfortunately, I found missing. You know, even with people having great experience and knowledge about Islam. So this basically prompted me to delve more into this ethical element, what the relationship between fiqh and ethics, if there is a relationship, are they the same, are they different? So I found some of these answers during these courses, and the experience was outstanding from the professors, their rich experience, and the, you know, studying bioethics. Now my research is about food ethics. So ethics is everywhere. This is the one thing that I learned, be it human ethics of migration. Ethics revolves, it's the intersection between law, philosophy, science, food, even like the food that we eat. Ethics core element of that, and we haven't realized it, you know, we just eat that food without realizing that there are some ethical issues underlying that. So it is not like, just like Haneen said, it is not, there's no right and wrong answer, there are no binary solutions. It all depends on your own moral world, that what are your norms and what are your values. And of course the law is to guide you, but what makes this course unique is the way it is practically oriented, and it targets the contemporary issues we are being faced with. So whether you are an engineer or a doctor or a teacher or a scientist, or you're coming from a law field, this course is for you. Reason being that we all are human beings, whichever field we choose, in our daily lives, with our families, at our workplace, in other relationships, we are going to face ethical dilemmas, whether even smallest of ethical dilemmas, like for example, we learned through case studies in ethics of migration. Initially I tried to be nice with my domestic worker, but what Dr. Ray taught me was that, you have to be empathetic. So we learned that through case studies, a different direction, that the story behind these domestic workers or these migrant workers, it is very easy to see things from the surface, but when you try to analyze that ethically, a whole new picture comes in front of you. Same is the case with a doctor who has to remove life support machine from a patient. It is not a binary thing, 0 and 1. He has to consider several other ethical factors while making any decision. So yes, I would agree with Haneen that my critical thinking skills got polished, and I don't know if I found a solution, because in life you don't always come up with a solution. But I think we as human beings, we shouldn't try to come to a solution always, but we should try to work around the problems and to morally justify whatever decision we make. We have to ethically justify it. So this is exactly what I strongly believe, that this course about Masters in Applied Islamic Ethics, it is the unique value that it puts, is that it is at the intersection of all these interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary fields. And I highly recommend all those interested students to join this program, and so that they can learn these critical skills and able to find answers, or if not answers, just to morally justify and to use their critical thinking skills, and to know that ethics, the importance and the core importance of ethics in today's contemporary issues, the contemporary issues that we are being faced with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Naima. Thank you, Haneen, for sharing your experience with us, with the audience also. And now the floor is open for your questions. If you have any question, please just write it down here on the Q&A. In the meantime, I will invite Dr. Ali to say something if you would like. Dr. Muhammad Ali is my colleague in the program, and he teaches Islamic bioethics.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you so much. I would like to give more opportunity to those who are interested in raising questions than I talk. So if we have a question, maybe we can better respond.
We have just one question now, saying that, okay, we have two questions, I think, now. So,
or maybe they cannot talk?
No, they cannot. They cannot.
Oh.
Okay, the first question is, okay, can the MA in Islamic ethics be extended beyond 2 years for research purposes or further concentration? The answer, it depends on your situation. If you are a local student, there might be some flexibility, but if you are an international student, so it cannot be. It's just for 2 years, because there will be a full scholarship for the international students. As for the local, yes, it can be based on the individual cases. So, but there is no policy in general to have 3 years MA till now. The second question, I may have missed it at the beginning, but what type of careers do students undertake upon graduation? You can answer this question if you'd like, Dr. Ali.
Yes. I think now the field of ethics, especially the applied ethics, the promising ones at the moment, and their potential market, its potential market is growing by time. So, for instance, in all institutions now, whether they are medical institutions like hospitals or biomedical research centers, etc., you always have a department or a unit responsible for ethical review, responsible for what we call IRB, Institutional Review Board. And in ministries and in governmental institutions, you have the policy making departments, regulatory, who are responsible for regulatory framework, etc. So this is all, of course, now more or less empty places that need people who studied ethics, and especially Islamic ethics for a country like Qatar and other neighboring countries. So this is all for the opportunities in work. And we have some of our students who already come working in the institution, and they come to do the master to be responsible for either regulatory or policy making or ethical regulation unit in their. So we had some people who were working, like for instance, in Weill Cornell, in their places, and others in different institutions. The other possibility of career is continuing academic research, to continue doing PhD and further. And we also have some of our students who already now enrolled in PhD programs, some in Turkey, some in the United States. One of the students, Dr. Ray, is now in one of the PhD programs in the United States. So these are the two main things, either the market, and this is really expanding by time, or the academic career by continuing a PhD.
Okay, thank you very much. We have here Dr. Ray Giordini. Dr. Ray Giordini is teaching human rights and migration ethics, Islamic ethics and human rights and migration. So if you'd like to say something, Dr. Ray, a few words.
Yes, of course. You can hear me, I take it?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes. Well, I have a particular speciality or interest, as do other faculty members. Mine is on migration. Migration is pretty fundamental, and the course that I teach basically gives you the idea that as human beings, we are always on the move. Human movement is something that's always been there and always will be. And so migration is a large topic, and we can talk about voluntary migration versus forced migration. And there are many laws and regulations, but also importantly, ethics in relation to people moving. And in the contemporary world with nation states, that makes life, easy, movement easy for some, but difficult for others. And we discuss those kinds of issues. For example, the idea of the Muslim Ummah comes into discussion as we try to work out the extent to which Muslim countries allow Muslims from other countries to enter and leave their countries at will, and so on and so forth. So the idea of forced migration, of course, is more like looking at refugees and people who have been forced to leave their countries or their homes. We have, internally displaced. And the Muslim world, in fact, has, one of the largest sources and hosts of refugees in the world. And so it's really very, very significant. Migration really affects us all, and most people are either migrants themselves in one form or another, or their parents or grandparents were migrants. So there's always a migration story behind every individual. And so we talk about that. I'm actually now about to develop a new course that just specifically focuses on refugees and asylum seekers, because that's such a large topic in itself and is of great interest. So we will have a course on migration and a course on refugees in the future. One of the great things about this program is the idea of applied, as everybody has mentioned already. And in every field of endeavor, in every occupation and industry, there are ethical guidelines for us to regulate our behavior. And of course, not everybody does abide by ethics and ethical principles. And we need to understand, at least to some extent, why people don't comply with ethical principles of behavior, and what is the relationship between people who are unethical and the world around them, and how do we deal with those situations. In my work, I also bring in the more or less Western, if you like, concept of human rights that attempts to introduce international law for countries, in the way countries behave and country policies at a global level. So anyway, there are many, many topics that we cover, and the issue is that it doesn't matter what area you're in, there are ethical principles that you have to understand, and that once you understand them, you can then impart and teach others in your field about those ethics and how best to deal with them. When we talk about ethical dilemmas, these are dilemmas that sometimes are not resolvable, and it's important to understand how to deal with situations where there is no rational outcome or decision-making process. So that's it for me. We often raise more questions than answers, but that's the nature of the interesting world that we live in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ray. Again, if you have any question, please just write it down on the section Q&A section, and we will be happy to answer to your questions. Thank you, Dr. Ray, because you gave an idea about the application aspect of the program. So now I would like to invite Dr. Ray to give a brief idea about the course that he teaches, Islamic bioethics, which reflects also the applied nature or the applied character of this program. Dr. Ali?
Assalamu alaikum. I teach the course Islamic bioethics, in which we discuss the discussions within the Islamic tradition in particular. This is our focus, but we also touch upon the discussions outside the Islamic tradition. The discussions in the Islamic tradition on a wide range of the ethical questions raised by modern biomedical advancements. So you can think of so many things, like, for instance, treating infertility by using assisted reproductive technologies, or the so-called IVF clinics, in vitro fertilization. The issues related to organ transplantation, cloning, the end of death, when someone is dead, is brain death in Islam or not? what to do with the life support machines, when can we switch them on or off, about communicating bad news to the patients. Should we be honest with them even if the news can be quite devastating, or should we use the compassion and in some cases even hide some information about them if this is bad information. We also, a great deal of the project deals with the modern questions related to genetics. We are here in Qatar, and not only Qatar, but all neighboring countries. You cannot get a marriage certificate without premarital genetic screening. We discussed these issues, the issue of genetic screening, that we screen people's gene to know if they have good genes for themselves and for their possibly future children or not. About prenatal genetic screening, when we screen the children, embryos in the IVF process before the pregnancy starts or after the pregnancy starts. All the things that we come across in our modern time, the questions that we usually do not address in traditional courses when we deal with Quran, Hadith, Tafsir, etc. This is the type of the questions that we discuss in our course.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed Ghali. I teach also ethical reasoning. This is one of the courses that I teach in the program. So in ethical reasoning, we cover the foundations of moral reasoning in the Islamic tradition, and we examine the principles and priorities of ethical reasoning, the arguments for a goal-oriented or a value-oriented approach to ethics, the contemporary emphasis on the context of ethical and reconfiguring the sources of knowledge. I mean, knowing what is good or what is bad, and how to know it, and how to argue for your argument, for your ethical judgment. In this context, we analyze the valid argument and invalid argument, and how to argue, and what makes an argument valid or sound argument. So the course in general examines and trains the students how to analyze the process of arguing to defend the best possible options in applied case at hand, and we focus in each week. We have a theoretical part and applied part, case studies. So we keep combining between the theoretical aspects and its applications in different cases, on different cases. In politics, daily life, social issues, economic issues, etc. So we mainly deal with analyzing cases and how to argue, how to make a moral argument, a good moral judgment, and how to argue for your judgment, and how to argue against the other judgments also. So this is just a brief idea about the course I teach, ethical reasoning and casuistry ethics. So yeah, that's it. I still I don't see any other questions here. It's unfortunately that we cannot give you we don't have the option to give you the mic to speak. So I prefer to hear from you. But it seems that we don't have this option. Yes.
There are some questions.
I don't see the questions here in my. Can you see them?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, there are more to, okay. Okay, now okay. Farah Sadiq, sorry, I missed the names before. So Farah Sadiq is asking, are all the electives taught from an Islamic perspective, or only some, I mean, Islamic bioethics and Islamic ethics of pandemics? Would like to answer this question, Dr. Ali?
Thank you. The distinctive characteristic of our program is that it provides perspectives rooted in the Islamic tradition. This is the distinctive character. This is something that you cannot find anywhere else. And we have searched a lot before we started the program to see if there are other programs in Islamic ethics. So this is a unique thing. Is it the only thing that we do only the Islamic? Surely not. So there is a very serious and critical engagement in every course and almost in every class with the relevant ethical discourse outside the Islamic tradition. And we contribute to this international discourse. We have Dr. Ray with us. He's someone who writes white papers for International Labor Organization, etc. So he is setting the standards in these international institutions. Recently, with the World Health Organization and the American Academy of Science and the British Royal Academy of Science. We're working on regulating the mitochondria donation, something related to the IVF. I participated in these discussions, and I was part of the committees that drafted these recommendations, international recommendations. So we have very serious, but also critical engagement with the international discourse. In my course on bioethics, I start the first classes about how modern bioethics was born, not just Islamic. What kind of discussions, who theorized for this, what kind of approaches, etc., before I speak about Islamic bioethics. So our focus and our unique and our identity is Islamic ethical discourse. But this doesn't mean that we are isolated from what's happening around the world. We do this with our students, we discuss it, but we go beyond it also.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. From my side,
we don't have courses specific, so we don't have like the division, secular ethics and Islamic ethics, etc. It's an how we call it an interdisciplinary discussion. So combining, and by the way, also in our in the master thesis, when the students write this, and our students are here, we engage also with in their research. We write about the secular discourse and also the Islamic discourse as well, because we are not alone in the world anyhow. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ghali. From my side, I, in the course Ethical Reasoning and Casuistry Ethics, one of the main characteristics of this course is to have a comparative analysis and argumentation. So this is why we don't have a specific lecture for Western moral philosophy or a specific course, because we integrate, we keep being involved in the global moral discourse and moral Western moral philosophy in our almost in all courses. So, for example, in each lecture in ethical reasoning, I have this comparative analysis of Islamic tradition, in ethical reasoning in Islamic tradition, and ethical reasoning in Western moral philosophy. So this is present in almost all lectures in this course. So we don't dedicate just a specific lecture or course for that, because we integrate it in our discussions. So and this is part of arguing and counter-arguing to defend the best option, possible options in applied cases. And then you need, at the end, you live in this world, and you need to be involved in the discussions and the different pluralistic moral judgments or values. Yeah. So there is another one more question is raised by Omar Daho. He said that, dear Dr. Mu'taz, what are the recommended readings and authors that you recommend prospective students who want to join the program in August 2021, inshallah, to read, please? I mean, like a preparation. Thank you. So in our courses, we don't rely on just one source because this is MA level. So we take the reading material is taken from multiple sources and different sources, from whether from the Islamic tradition and from the contemporary time, also written from different different authors from different backgrounds. So as for just a preparation to have an introduction to the Islamic ethics in general, I would suggest you to read Ethical Theories in Islam by Majid Fakhri, to have a general idea, although that it's a bit old publication, but and the field itself was developed much more what you read in this book. But at least you will have a general idea about the moral traditions in Islam, the moral aspects of Islamic tradition, and this is very important. And the second book is Reason and Tradition, written by George Hourani also. So these two books are a good introduction and a good start to have a general idea about Islamic ethics as a discipline. And then in the program, you can develop your ideas, and you can have deeper understanding through the courses that you will teach. You will learn, inshallah, or you will study. That's it.
And I think Arabic, we just had the international conference about key classical works in Islamic ethics. The details are on our website, on CILE website, CILE website. You can check the program, and you will have the names of the books that we examined in this conference. So if you know Arabic, you can have a look at these books, but this is a little bit heavy stuff.
Yeah, and I think the records, the lectures, the presentations will be available online soon, inshallah. So you can also listen to the presentations, all the presentations during these 3 days. So you will have a general idea about the key sources, key classical sources on Islamic ethics. At least a summary of these books, or a general idea about these works. So that would help you too.
And as a sentence, we have a Journal of Islamic Ethics, a peer-reviewed journal, and we have a book series, Studies in Islamic Ethics. Both the Journal of Islamic Ethics and the book series, Studies in Islamic Ethics, are available online for free. You can download the books, and you can download the articles of the journal. through the website of Brill. If you just Google Journal of Islamic Ethics or Studies in Islamic Ethics, you will find them, and you can download various articles and more than one book also as PDF from internet.
Okay, there is one more question here. Farah Sadaq is asking, can you speak a little bit more about the tutorial and internship options and what they entail? So from my side, tutorial and internship are designed to help some students who are coming from different backgrounds to strengthen their weaknesses if they have some weaknesses based on their background, because this program is open to all BA students coming from any background. So some of these students who came from, for example, sciences or other disciplines that not related directly to Islamic studies, so they might need some preparation and additional work. So in this case, we designed tutorial to have for those students to have an option to work with a professor, one of the professors, to strengthen that aspect or the weakness that she or he has. If you'd like to add something here, Dr. Ali, also.
Yes, as I said, because the trajectory, the route of our students after the graduation can go to either the academic career by doing PhD and further, or by going to the market. Those who to do the academic career, sometimes they have some deficiencies in some aspects of Islamic ethics. We use the tutorial in order to give them extra readings, and they do this one-to-one with the professors so that they improve their knowledge in specific areas that will make them more eligible to some PhD programs. The internship for those, for instance, if my plan is to work about regulating IRBs, institutional review boards, or healthcare policy making in the Ministry of Health. You can already spend some time while you are doing your MA doing internship in the ministry, so that it will be easier for you, so that you join or Ministry of Social Justice or work or labor, whatever. So you can do this. So it will be paving the way for the student to go whatever way and whatever route already while doing the program.
Okay. There is no more questions. Anyway, if you, I will write my email here on a Q&A window, and if you have any question, you can send me an email, and I will be happy to answer your questions. Okay, so if there is no more question, and would you like to add? Would you like to add something, Dr. Ray?
No, I think very well. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ray. Thank you.
Yes. Students can feel free to write to any of us individually if they have particular questions. It's not an issue.
Yes. So if you have any questions, so you can direct it to us, to me, or to any of the professors are present here. So it's easy anyway to get our emails from the website at PKU website. But anyway, I wrote my email down here in the window, Q&A window. So, and we hope that now you have a clear idea about the program, and we hope to see you in our program, inshallah. So thank you very much.